Stop scrolling for a moment, because what you're about to hear sounds impossible. A powerful female CEO believed a struggling single father was completely blind. She felt sorry for him. She spent millions trying to help him see again. But when she finally discovered the truth, her entire world changed. Before we begin, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Stories like this remind us that sometimes the people we think need saving are actually the ones who save us. Now let's begin. The rain fell steadily across downtown Chicago, turning the city lights into blurred reflections on the pavement. Inside the glass tower of Hawthorne Global Enterprises, 38-year-old CEO Victoria Hawthorne stood beside her office window overlooking the city she had conquered. At least, that's what every magazine said. Victoria Hawthorne was one of the youngest self-made CEOs in America. She appeared on business covers, spoke at global conferences, and managed a company worth billions. People envied her success. Nobody understood her loneliness. The office lights remained on long after everyone else had gone home. The silence had become her closest companion. Victoria had spent her entire adult life chasing achievement. While others built families, she built empires. While others celebrated birthdays surrounded by loved ones, she celebrated quarterly earnings reports. Success had made her wealthy. It had not made her happy. That evening, exhausted after another 16-hour workday, Victoria finally left the building. Her driver had the night off. For the first time in months, she decided to walk. The rain had slowed to a gentle drizzle as she passed a small neighborhood park several blocks away. That was when she noticed him. A man sat alone on a wooden bench beneath a shelter. His clothes were simple but clean. Beside him sat a young girl, perhaps 8 years old. The man wore dark glasses despite the cloudy evening. His eyes remained fixed forward without movement. The little girl held his arm while reading from a school notebook. Victoria slowed her pace. Something about them captured her attention. The girl laughed while reading. The man smiled warmly. He listened with complete focus. No phone. No distractions. Just a father listening to his daughter. Victoria found herself standing nearby longer than she intended. Then she noticed something else. The little girl carefully guided the man when they stood. She helped him avoid puddles. She described the surroundings as they walked. Victoria's heart tightened. He's blind, she thought. The realization hit her harder than expected. The little girl couldn't have been older than 8. Yet she was already acting as her father's eyes. As Victoria watched them disappear down the sidewalk, she felt something she hadn't experienced in years. A deep emotional pull. The next evening, she returned to the same park. She told herself it was coincidence. But deep down, she knew better. And there they were again. The same bench. The same father. The same daughter. This time Victoria approached. "Excuse me," she said softly. The little girl looked up. The father turned his head toward her voice. "Hello," he replied politely. His voice was calm and confident. "I'm Victoria." "I'm Daniel." The little girl smiled. "I'm Emma." Victoria sat on the opposite end of the bench. For nearly 20 minutes they talked. Emma spoke enthusiastically about school. Daniel spoke proudly about his daughter. Not once did he complain about his circumstances. Not once did he ask for sympathy. When Victoria finally left, she felt strangely lighter. For years, conversations had revolved around contracts, acquisitions, and profits. This conversation had revolved around life. Over the following weeks, Victoria returned often. She learned that Daniel worked remotely as a customer service consultant. She learned that Emma loved books and dreamed of becoming a writer. She learned that Daniel's wife had passed away 4 years earlier after a sudden illness. Since then, he had raised Emma alone. Every sacrifice, every struggle, every challenge, he faced it without complaint. The more Victoria learned about Daniel, the more she admired him. And the more she admired him, the more she noticed how unfair life seemed. Why should a devoted father lose his wife? Why should a little girl spend her childhood guiding her father through the world? One evening Victoria finally asked, "Daniel, have doctors given you any hope?" There was a pause. "A little," he said carefully. "The surgery exists. But it's expensive." "How expensive?" Daniel hesitated. "Far more than I could ever afford." Victoria looked away. For her, the amount would probably equal a few days of corporate revenue. For Daniel, it represented an impossible dream. That night she couldn't sleep. Images of Emma helping her father replayed endlessly in her mind. Meanwhile, thousands of luxury items filled her homes. Private cars, vacation properties, designer collections. What was the point of all that wealth if she couldn't change one family's life? The next morning Victoria called her medical advisor. She requested every possible detail regarding Daniel's condition. Within days she had assembled a team of specialists. The world's best surgeons reviewed his case. The results were encouraging. There was a genuine chance that treatment could restore significant vision. The procedure would cost millions. Victoria didn't hesitate. "Do whatever it takes," she said. When Daniel learned about her offer, he was speechless. "No," he finally said. Victoria stared at him. "No? I can't accept that." "Why not?" "Because nobody owes me that much." Victoria's eyes filled with emotion. "And what if I want to help?" Daniel smiled gently. "Then help someone who needs it more." That answer affected Victoria more deeply than any business negotiation ever had. Most people wanted something from her. Money. Influence. Connections. Daniel wanted none of it. For the first time, Victoria understood that true dignity could not be purchased. Months passed. Eventually Daniel agreed to undergo evaluation and treatment. Victoria personally arranged everything. Specialists. Transportation. Rehabilitation. Housing. Every detail. The company board questioned her decision. Investors criticized her generosity. News outlets speculated about her motives. She ignored them all. Because for the first time in years, her wealth felt meaningful. Then came the day that changed everything. A final specialist completed an extensive examination. Victoria waited anxiously outside the office. The doctor emerged carrying a file. His expression was unusual. Confused. Concerned. "Miss Hawthorne," he said. "We need to talk." Victoria's stomach tightened. "What's wrong?" The doctor opened the file. "There's something about Daniel's condition that doesn't make sense." Victoria felt her pulse quicken. "What do you mean?" The doctor looked directly at her. "According to every test we've conducted." He paused. "Daniel is not completely blind." The words hit her like thunder. Victoria stared at him. Unable to speak. Unable to move. Everything she believed suddenly shattered. Had Daniel lied? Had she been manipulated? Had the entire relationship been built on deception? Or was there a truth she still didn't understand? As Victoria stood frozen in the hallway, she had no idea that the answer would change both of their lives forever. And it would reveal a sacrifice so extraordinary that she would willingly spend every dollar she owned to repay it.